There's this shame pocket that exists, this dark hole in life, and that's where I live as a coach. The reason why I live there is because that's where I lived as a man up until a couple of years ago. And I know how dark and scary and filled with shame and guilt and fear it is. And I want to help people out of it. My name is Coach Bruce, and I'm a life coach for ADHD parents. And it is very easy as an ADHD parent to get sucked into the cycle of fear, shame, and guilt. We have this little voice in our mind that tells us we are always failing. We'll never be good enough. We'll never do it right. It just runs on a loop until you learn to address it. I had that running in my head all the time. And because it was running, or maybe because I was failing, it got worse and worse and worse. And instead of trying to do something about it and trying to stop failing, trying to figure out how to get out of the darkness, I hid from it. I pushed it away and I suppressed it and I tried to ignore it like it didn't exist by binging movies or playing tons of hours of video games or watching porn or popping pills or drinking excessively or doing steroids and working out hours and hours at a time, but the darkness still existed. The fear, shame, guilt, regret, doubt, depression, all of it was still there. I had just found ways to distract myself from it. It never went away. And what I know now is that it is hard to do the work to get out from under the fear and the doubt and the depression. It's hard, but it was hard to live that way. We get so comfortable living in the darkness that whenever somebody offers us a light, we push it away because our darkness has become a security blanket. But it's not actually what you want. You want to live in the light. It is your natural right to live in the light, but you've become so used to the darkness, you don't even know how to see in the light anymore. It's hard, but the way you're living is harder. It's harder and it continues to stay hard and it never gets any easier, but there's never any reward. Why would you want to keep doing that life to yourself? Why would you want to keep working so hard to keep up the facade that is making you so unhappy? It doesn't make any sense. It is the definition of insanity to show up every day trying the same things, expecting different results. That life is going to keep you unhappy for the rest of your life until you fucking change it. Period. Nobody is coming to save you. It takes a decision from you to try to decide to leave the darkness behind, to decide to leave the fear, guilt, and shame, to stop using it as a blanket of security because it's not working for you. Do you feel secure? If you actually stop for a moment and let the thoughts that are constantly kept at bay by the distractions creep into your mind, do you really feel safe? Do you feel secure? Are you actually comforted? Or are you just in a disillusionment? I personally struggled with this disillusionment, and once I finally hit rock bottom and was about to lose everything, I actually looked at the life I was leading. I was about to lose everything anyways, and I said, "Is this the life that I want?" And the truth was, I was living a lie. I hated the career I was in. The relationship that I was in was false because I had never been real in it. I had never given my wife a chance to actually know who I was because I was afraid. I was afraid to say, this is not the job I want because I was broke whenever I started it and I finally had money for once. I was afraid to let that go. I was afraid to admit that the conversation between me and God did not exist anymore. There was nothing. I was so closed off to any outside stimuli because of my fear that I could not feel my wife, my kids. I could not feel God. I could not feel anything. All I felt was the lie. I'm okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing was fine. And anytime I stood still for 5 minutes and actually let those thoughts creep in, I realized very quickly I am not okay. So I wouldn't sit still. I'd find something else to occupy my mind. I'd play Zelda Breath of the Wild until 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm passing out. I drink every weekend until not stupid drunk, just to where I was numb to the possibility that there might be feelings outside of this pressure on my chest. But when I finally took the time to really ask myself, what do I want? That fear, that guilt, that shame wasn't it. What I wanted was to connect with my wife. What I wanted was to connect with my children. What I wanted was to find purpose in my business. What I wanted was to take care of my body. What I wanted was to find a deeper relationship with God. But I was scared of the work. I was scared of the investment it would take in myself to find any sort of depth in my life. I was terrified. But then once I'd seen how much I hated what I was living with, faced with the work ahead, I was stuck. I couldn't go back to what I knew, but I couldn't step forward into the new life because I was scared of it. I knew that there was so much work ahead of me and I didn't know how to cope. And in that moment, I prayed out to God and asked for guidance. And somebody came to me like I'm coming to you and said, "I can help you." And I took the help. I was brave enough in that moment to say, "Yes, this is what I need. I need someone else." Sometimes you have to stop asking yourself, "How can I solve this problem?" and start asking, "Who can help me?" Who, not how. Because the problem that you've created, the situation that you're in, your mind cannot comprehend the solution to. You need fucking help. I know that I did. It took me years to figure that out. If you're listening to this, if you hear my voice, if you watch this much, you know that you're struggling. You know that you need help. You're just afraid of the work. You're afraid of the discomfort that you're going to feel trying to get better. But look at your life as it is right now. Take a second and let the feelings creep in. Is that fucking comfortable? Is it? It can't be. Take the help. Be brave enough to say, "I'm ready for a change." And in that, you will have made the first and most powerful decision of your life to just design what you want in your life to happen and start telling the truth to yourself. And then everything can change. But until you admit that the struggle is there, that the fear is crushing you, you are not going to get any change. Nobody is coming into that darkness for you. I'm trying my best to reach out into the darkness to provide a light for you to come towards. So then I can help you all the way out of your cave. But I cannot come in and get you. You have to step towards me. Links in the bio. Link is in the description. I want to help you. That's it.